It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity, and we are back for day 2 of our 3-day in Del Cerro on this little front slope. And I know you all are so excited about this because everyone has slopes and everyone is so concerned always with what to do with said slope. And I just, you know me, I think cactus and succulents are the answer. Couple things to take into consideration here, and you can take into consideration also with your own gardens, is your borrowed landscape. Remember your borrowed landscape. In this case, it would be this Brazilian pepper and this hedge of olive that is growing in the corten steel planter, as well as our very, very large shrubbery over here. So how that influenced me is, one, I didn't want to cover up the corten steel planter. I wanted to make sure that there was air so it could be seen because I think it's really pretty. Secondly, I wanted to choose a lighter top dressing, taking into consideration the potential leaf drop from the Brazilian pepper, as well as the melaleuca over here, the wind blowing, the leaves. So that's another consideration. And thirdly, the color of the olive, the color of the hedge, the textures and the big plants that are already here. It's a lot of green, which is great. And I wanted to be sure to try to bring in some elements of blue and some elements of red and, to really mix it up color-wise and to make this garden exciting while at the same time making it work and flow seamlessly with the rest of the yard. There's also a giant mock orange or pittosporum over here against the house that I'm lobbying with the client to get rid of because I think we can do a lot better, but whatever. Anywho, that there's just a vibe, and I don't want to counter indicate. So that also influenced my top dressing choice, which I'll share with you later. But for now, I wanted you to see irrigation. We've already done all the irrigation and all of these plants here are irrigated, but the lines have been buried and stapled. And some of you, except the barrel cactus. We don't irrigate those because those babies are full of water. So don't really, we feel that they don't really need irrigation. But I wanted you to see kind of how this works in process. Those of you particularly that are newer to the channel, we always talk about irrigation, but you don't really get to see it. So here we have Kevin. Let me back up. Okay, so the line that you see with the white stripe, you can see there are little holes. Every 12 inches, there's a little irrigation hole there. So if we set the irrigation to go off once a week,
a gallon an hour each emitter.
It's a gallon an hour each emitter. So about 15 minutes is sufficient, especially in this clay soil, to give these plants all they need. Now you'll also notice that we left a lot of room. We want to remember the potential of the plant and its growth. I don't want to put these rings in so tight that they choke off the new growth. And what Kevin's doing is he's trenching because we want to bury these lines. I don't want these lines to be seen. So we actually dig a trench. Then he's taken a staple right now, a landscape staple, and stapling the tubing down after he's got it submerged under the surface soil. That way we do not see the irrigation, and that is the goal. Now these connectors, these things over here, the solid up here, those are solid lines. So that just the water travels through those to get to the rings with the holes in them. That way we are being really specific about where the water's going. This garden was set up on drip because there were a bunch of natives and things in here before, and it was done in grids, long, reaches of water that was, just this whole garden, everything was wet all the time. And that's not necessary with these plants. So we decided to modify the whole system. This is what we pulled up after the fact. Well, after we got all of the planting done yesterday, we cleaned up all the surface roots and all of the big hard chunks of clay and rocks and leaves and mulch, so that we would have a very smooth surface with which to apply our top dressing of, it's called Fossil Brown, and it's a new one for us, and I can't wait for you to see it. We also put down a pre-emergent called preen, which is little beads of weed suppressant that got sprinkled all through this space. Our client did not want to go with weed barrier fabric, and I didn't either, because there's mixed success with that.
Slides down it.
And the rock slides down it, and you can't get a foothold, and you're still going to get weeds. And think about it, we would have to cut holes in it for all the plants, so it ends up with a Swiss cheese, and it's a no. So no on that. But so here you have it. We've got the crew almost done. I'd say about 3/4 of the way done burying lines. So the next step is going to be some final smoothing and picking up of detritus on the surface. We're obviously also pulling any grass or weeds that we see, and then we're going to be able to start throwing down the rock top dressing, and that is going to be very exciting.
We also trenched, and you came across something.
Oh yes, thank you, Hannah. I mentioned also that you see this trench that we did along the sidewalk. We want to give the rock, something to fall into so it doesn't end up on the sidewalk. So we always trench out our projects. And I ran up against what I thought was a boulder, and I kept digging and digging and digging and digging, and I found the edges of it. So I tried to get a shovel under it to loosen it, and I ran across a gray pipe. It turns out that this is an old electrical conduit. We think there might have been a lamp post here at one time. It predates the client's purchase of the home, so they don't know. But in this case, we're going to have to get a little creative with our ribbons and with our rock. So you'll get to see how we navigate this obstruction as well. All right, well, what a difference a day makes, huh? We obviously completed the irrigation and got it all stapled down, threw down our top dressing rock. This is about 4 yards of fossil brown, and it's a 1-inch rock that we got from KRC. I've never used it before, but I will be using it again. It's so rich. It's got a lot of really very interesting variations and colors in it. And then our rubble is a mix of honey quartz, Napa Canyon, Jasper purple. I mean, we've got a lot going on in here. It's fantastic. And this, we used about 2 baskets of rubble. You will note that I went back to my roots and I did a more traditional ribbon with the rock. This is how I always used to do it. And I kind of got away from that, and I started kind of doing more of a Jackson Pollock look, which I still love and I'll still do. But it just really depends on the circumstance. And with this particular installation and this particular slope and the way it's angled, this felt right. Also, with the more minimalistic approach with the plants, I wanted to add that third layer. I didn't want to leave the rubble off, but I also didn't want to distract the eye. So what Hannah and I spent all day working this out. And we wanted to accentuate the plants and showcase the plants and draw the eye from the top of the install all the way down. So this created a tremendous visual vibration too that we're really, really thrilled with. So here it is. Also, I've been a little MIA on Instagram, sorry, but we're back, and Hannah posted the coolest reel yesterday of us doing some installation. So be sure and check that out at Laura Loves Succulents if you'd like to see that little irrigation reel. It's really good. I also was reading the comments from the video that was uploaded yesterday, and I appreciate all of those as always. And one of the comments was really good. Well, they're all good, but the gentleman said, why did you irrigate this garden? These plants look to be, xeriscopic plants. And he's right, they are. I mean, these plants are tough as nails. There's nothing in here that absolutely has to have any kind of regular irrigation. But remember, this is not my home garden. And I only do maintenance about once a year, in this case, probably every year and a half. If we have unseasonably warm weather, Santa Anas, heat conditions, I want to make sure these plants are getting watered. This is not a client that is going to come out with a hose and water her yard. Also, irrigated plants are healthier, they're happier, they're more disease and pest resistant. And I want these plants to shine and glow. We have specimens out here. Can you just see it in your head? Can you see this in 2 or 3 years when these things really get their legs? How stunning they're going to be. I want to give them every possible opportunity to thrive. So by giving them a little drink, we got the water set to once a week for 10 minutes. And this is 1 gallon an hour emitters per every 12-inch. So in other words, it's enough. It's like, would be the equivalent of throwing about a 3-gallon bucket of water on each plant, if you want to look at it that way. So it'll just keep them happy. All right. I guess that's all I've got for now. We have a very, very full schedule coming up. We have some exciting things to share with you as well. And we've got some big installations that are coming up that we'll be spending, 10, 12 days. So yeah, lots of exciting things. I think next we've got a couple of maintenances coming up, and then we're going to be up in Fullerton for a week blowing out a front yard with all the bells and whistles and a dry stream bed and beautiful mature plants and giant rocks. I mean, it's just going to be super exciting. That'll be at the end of January. So please let me know in the comments if you have any questions regarding this installation. I hope you've all been inspired. If you have a slope in your front yard, this is a really great solution, isn't it? This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your grand reveal in Del Cerro. See you next time, guys. Bye.